Hi, this is Mark from Sound Matters, and today's topic covers how to correctly use a carbon fibre record brush to clean and maintain your records. So if you don't already own one, a carbon fibre brush is pretty much an essential tool in the arsenal of any record collector. It will help reduce the static build-up on your record, it will help reduce the dust build-up on your record, and both protect the longevity of your record and your stylus in the long run. So if you're not already using one, I highly recommend that you go get one. They're not expensive and they'll save you a headache and make sure that your records last a lifetime and beyond as a result of it. So it will dramatically reduce the amount of wet cleaning that you will have to do with your records if you're disciplined in using it both before and after each side is played back. So there's a bit of debate as to how it's best to use a carbon fibre brush. It might sound silly, but there is a little bit of a disagreement amongst the vinyl community as to which method is the correct way or the best way, and I'm just going to go through some of those methods today. So there's a couple of carbon fibre record brushes that I have. One is probably the one most people recognise, which is this one here, and then there's a slightly updated version of it, again by the same company, AudioQuest, which has a couple of improvements which I'll explain later into this video. But without further ado, let's get into the method. So the first method I'm going to recommend to you is actually the method that's recommended by AudioQuest themselves. So essentially here's what we would do. So we'd start the record spinning, and then we're going to take our carbon fibre brush here and just gently tickle the surface here. We don't want to press too hard because we essentially want as many of these carbon fibre bristles to penetrate the record grooves as possible. Make sure we pick up as much loose dust and debris as we can. So allow that to spin a few times, and then we're going to gently lift the front brushes so that then these rear brushes here are catching anything, the ones that are closest to us of course, are catching anything that the front brushes didn't catch, and then we're going to lift the entire brush off the surface of the record like so. We're then of course going to take the brush and we're going to rub it in between the handle, away from the record surface of course, so we're not just transferring the dust back onto the record. So we do that away from the record, rub it in between the handle, and then we may want to repeat that process a couple of times. If it's a particularly dirty record, you may find that sometimes it will leave a little print on the surface as you pull it off. So repeat it a couple of times and it will eventually stop doing that. So if you just do that again and just keep doing it until the surface of the record is clean and we're not leaving any sort of print behind as we lift the brush off the surface of the record. Now that is technically, I believe, the safest way to do that process, but it comes with some downside as well. So the reason it's recommended to do that is that we're not dragging particles that may be on the record surface across the surface of the record, because a lot of people will recommend one of two other methods. So they'll recommend that you hold it down like so, and you either pull to the centre of the record and allow it to touch the spindle in the middle, the theory being that this helps discharge a small amount of static, or you may do the opposite. You may pull the stylus brush across away from the record surface and away from the record entirely. The main issue there, and the main worry being that you may drag a particle across the surface of the record, which may cause some scratching to the record surface. There is a risk there. I see the logic in that, and so I tend to, for the safest method, recommend the AudioQuest method. However, there is a small caveat in that it can take, if it's a very dusty record, this method can, because you're pulling off the surface like so, can, I find, still leave a bit of a dust print where the carbon fibre record brush was pulled off the surface. So, I leave it down to you ultimately in the long term whether or not you would prefer to just quickly pull things off and whether you want to take that risk. If you want to be extra safe, follow the AudioQuest method and repeat the process until the dust isn't leaving a print on the surface of the record. I found that very frustratingly, some records I've just bought back from the the record store, it's almost impossible not to leave that small print of dust without doing one of the alternative methods of either pulling this way or pulling that way. So yeah, anyway, that's with the standard record brush. And those are sort of the pros and cons of some of those methods that you'll find people recommending. And now I'm going to explain to you what this little improvement version is right here. So this is a newer version of the humble carbon fibre brush that AudioQuest released, and it has a lot more bristles to begin with. So your I can't remember the exact amount, and I've got an article on the website that kind of lists it, but there's a heck of a lot more carbon bristles within this one, and that's going to help pick up more debris. It's going to penetrate more of the record surface and be a more effective cleaner of the dust. The other element here is these contacts here. It improves the conductivity between the brushes and essentially your hand, which then acts as like a ground for some of the static that might build up through the process of doing this. I'm just going to stop this record spinning pointlessly now. So this is better conductivity, and it connects to the brushes more directly, whereas if you look at these, very often there is an element of a sort of a light either print or almost plasticky kind of protective coating on the surface here that may reduce the conductivity and therefore hinder its ability to take away any static charge and then diffuse it through you into the ground. So it is an improvement. I find that this one is more effective. Both are absolutely fantastic, and if you only buy one, then absolutely fine, this works best. But this is an improvement, doesn't cost an awful lot more. They have improved on the design, and I recommend you spend the if you're looking for an improved version, I recommend it to you. So that is basically it. It's it's not rocket science. There's not an awful lot to it, but there is a little bit of debate as to which is the best way or the safest way to use a carbon fibre brush. And if you're new to vinyl record collecting and anything like that, then I'm hoping that helps you get started with keeping your records in tip-top shape for many years to come. I do recommend that you are disciplined with using a carbon fibre brush before and after the playback of each side. So play side A, do the carbon fibre record brush first, then before you flip it over, run the brush round again and do the same on side B. So it's a lot of work, but it will maintain the quality of your records and stop them from wearing out over time. It will maintain the life of them. It will increase the longevity of your records for your lifetime and hopefully beyond. So I do recommend it. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and head over to yoursoundmatters.com and subscribe to our family of vinyl record collectors, if you like, as a community, and be part of the Sound Matters community, and we'd love to have you on board. So thanks very much for watching, and we will see you over the website and in the next video. Cheers, bye.